This is why it's always good to bring a drinking buddy with you if you plan on doing a night of drinking. Even if it's just for one drink, it's good to let somebody know where you're going to be, what your tentative plans are, and when you tentatively plan to get home. But it's also better to bring somebody you know and trust with you under any of these circumstances. Now, that being said, here is a story that really drives that point home. A young Florida woman was walking home from work one evening on a route she usually took. It was about 1.5 miles from her place of work along the strip to her residence, which was a block off of the strip. She decided this night that about the halfway point on the edge of the commercial district of this beach area that she was going to pop into one of those last little local bars and have a drink on the way home. This was not abnormal for her. She stopped at this bar quite frequently and she knew a lot of the people there. This particular night, there were only a few people there and she didn't really want to stay that long, so she said just one drink and then I'll be gone. So she went in and she had her first drink, and after that she did feel a little uneasy, but she felt like it was because she hasn't eaten, so she figured maybe just one more to kind of plow through that feeling. Makes sense, right? Well, she had her second drink, and at this point she feels embarrassed, like she's going to puke all over the place, so she decides she needs to really pay her tab as fast as possible and get out of here before anything embarrassing happens to her. So she gets all her stuff together, and eventually she's able to do just that. She walks out. No one really thought anything of it, so no one really thought there was a need to follow her and make sure she got home safely. Now, when she left, she decided she wasn't going to walk along the street where there are street lights, that she was going to walk alongside the strip where the actual beach is in the sand, so she could feel the sand in her toes on the way home. This was not abnormal for her either. However, what was abnormal about this night is usually there is a bright moonlit sky in this area, and for whatever reason, tonight it was overcast and the moon was not peeking through at all. Why is this important, you might ask? Well, unless you're in a commercialized district of a beach, it is usually rather dark. If you're along an area where there are tons of just houses that are for rent and things like that, not too many of the walkways are really lit, and you're not going to have too many lights protruding onto the beach itself. There's a lot of dark areas. Now, she begins walking. She notices she's feeling more and more fatigued every step that she takes. She looks back and she's only been about 30 yards out into the darkness before she, realizes that she's not making it very far. She feels a lot more sick than she did 20 seconds earlier, and everything she can do to fight this feeling just keeps making it worse and worse. And then she hears voices. She notices there are 3 men in hoodies walking into the darkness behind her. She knows that this can't be good because they're talking about a girl that they need to find, and she can't fully comprehend what's going on, but she knows that there's something sinister behind it. So she picks up the pace again, all the while feeling more and more exhausted. Just with every step she took, everything she did just made her more tired. In this case, it was the best thing she could have done, because at this point, luckily, she stumbled into a group of people. It was 2 individuals. She ended up collapsing on one of them. They did not even hear her walking up. She tripped over one of their feet and fell right into some guy's arms that she had never met before. Now, this could have gone bad in several different ways. However, the people she ended up stumbling across knew very quickly something is not right, and they called the police. When they called the police, they quickly soon realized that she had been roofied, and that if she had not stumbled across those 2 individuals with the waves crashing and everything going on and there not being lights, it's very likely that she would have been taken that night. These 3 individuals had been on the prowl for several months, taking people. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and say that every single beach community in the entire world has this sort of thing going on in it, and of course you can have this thing happen, far away from the beach. Human trafficking happens all over the place. But there are a few factors that play into this sort of thing happening to you tenfold. 1, you are in a heavily tourist-reliant area. 2, it is peak of that season. And 3, it is a beach community. I used to live in Myrtle Beach back in 2008, and there was a famous case. It was the case of Brittany Drexel. She went missing in April of 2009, April 25th to be exact. She was not discovered, and her killer was not proven guilty until May of 2022. That is a long time for somebody to be missing and for a family not to gain closure, which brings me into another point. And this one is actually kind of sad. This can happen anywhere as well. Keep that in mind. I'm not pointing fingers at Myrtle Beach when I say this. These are just ones that I'm familiar with. Heather Elvis, she went missing around the same time. This is a case that you can look up. And they didn't start getting calls about anything really until the family posted up a $10,000 reward. They started putting up all these posters and flyers everywhere saying that they were going to pay $10,000 for any information leading to the recovery of their daughter. They started getting calls in from all over the place from people who had discovered bodies 2 to 10 years prior. So that being said, you kind of got to think all these people were kind of just hoping on the fact that maybe they falsely identify Heather Elvis so that they get to keep $10,000 from a body that they have no idea who it is, but they know that that body is not her because they know when she went missing. Makes sense? That being said, I hope you guys be safe and have a wonderful day. Peace out.